Then,
Yeah, we can jump back on it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Toku Portal podcast for Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger. I am Vashi V, and I am joined with...
DK.
Little King?
And Rai.
And today we're talking about Uchuu Sentai KyuuRanger episode 32. Surprisingly, we don't get a recap. We open with Don Armage ordering his chief retainers to eliminate the Rangers, offering a promotion to Vice Shogun if they succeed. Kukuruga sends Dogyun to do the job. On the Oriongo, Naga tells the Rangers that Don Armage is somewhere in the Southern Cross system. The Oriongo is still unable to fly, though. And Raptor is hesitant to give everyone an update. An alarm sounds as Moraimazu begin exploding. The Rangers get ready to deploy, but are surprised to see Tsurugi sitting in Sho Lompo's chair. He decides that he's pretty much going to be the leader now, and to do the Kyuulet the chance of it. So, we cut to Tsurugi without a shirt in a really weird outfit with tassels, singing the Kyuulet song with Stinger in a tank top playing the guitar alongside him.
Why did he take his shirt off? Why did Stinger jump in with a guitar?
I don't know what y'all talking about. That was fucking awesome.
But why?
The hell I care. That was fucking awesome.
Oh, nobody's arguing that, King. Just
Yeah,
why did he...
People who are going to be binge watching this in the future, it's going to be such a freaking drastic change in between this episode and the last.
Best.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Real quick, I was so glad they did a callback to that. Because we only got it the one time, and then everybody else, nope, not happening again. And then Suguri just goes, you know, fuck it, I'm doing it.
We got it one other time as well.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. We got it in that Cho Superhero Tyson movie. Didn't we get it there?
No.
I don't think so.
I remember
one
seeing
time-
it another time, okay? I don't remember
Yeah,
where.
I remember
but...
one time we saw it, but it was like sped up 2 times. So Sho
No.
Lumpo's just like flailing around.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty funny.
Not even that though. Like I remember just seeing it like another time.
Yeah. It could have been in one of the V cinema, like the High School Wars, if you've been.
That was it. It was the first
Yeah,
high school
that's the
war.
one.
That was it. Okay. I swear, I knew I'd seen it somewhere recently.
Watch that! Yay!
I can't wait to see more of that. But anyways, going on.
Yes. So the sortie team is Lucky Hami, Stinger, Garu, and Naga. Tsurugi leaves in a hurry with the sortie team, just because, and tells them to follow him. So we cut to people being attacked by electronic appliances and dark matter. The narrator begins recapping the story and leads into the legend that we get every episode before the opening, which was pretty nice. I really enjoyed when they did this in X-Aid, right after Paradox killed all those ride players. They kind of brought the narrator back and gave the whole story and led into the opening, and that was pretty good, and I liked it in this as well.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on, like, the joke Naga unintentionally made. Like, I found out he's in the Crux system somewhere around there. It's like, okay, that's not exactly entirely specific, but thanks for the effort. And, like I said, I don't know where that chant song came from. All I know is Tsurugi's a terrible singer, but he looks damn good in that outfit. So, and as does Stinger, so I don't really care. And I like the bit where Tsurugi came anyway, even though he wasn't picked, and Kotaro yelled out, "You're making Earthlings look bad!" And I do understand why they did the narration thing. They did it this week with Build, too. It's basically like, since they had to swap the time, from, like, way earlier on 8 to around 9, they had to sort of do the previews longer so people could catch up, depending on where they were. So, yeah, I mean, at least they kept that consistent with both shows. I'm glad for that. But, yeah, I died laughing this time.
Oh, they do it with Build as well? I thought that they were just doing that because it was the start of a new arc. So much for giving them credit on that.
Yeah, Build did it. Literally, it's like the 5th episode of Build, and you get the background information from the start of the series.
It felt very appropriate for KyuuRanger that I thought they were just doing it because it's the start of a new arc. As for Tsurugi, like, sitting in the commander's chair, he does have a point. He did, like, start the alliance, or rebellion, whatever. Like, if anyone has a claim, it technically is him. Seriously, though, why did he take off his shirt?
Moms watch this show, too.
Oh, God. It's kind of like... it's like in KyuuRanger, how they made Pink, like, kick people because they were appealing to foot fetishes.
Dads watch this show, too.
Oh, I thought it was just to show off the thighs. I didn't realize it was that twisted.
That, too.
They both work. Same movement.
That explains why I like
off Pink's shirt every episode.
That's why I like that show that much, I guess.
Anyways, any more thoughts on this opening stuff?
I think I said all I needed to.
Like, I liked it. It was fun. I like the fact that they called it back to show singing the Culet song, though I would like to know where Suguri learned it. And when Stinger decided he wanted to take up the guitar. And Kotaro, of all people, should just learn to keep his mouth shut about people just randomly going on missions. Because that's literally all he did at the start of this show when he showed up. Was not listen to anybody and do whatever the hell he wanted. So,
yeah, he's just a stupid kid. He doesn't remember that far back.
But he learned.
As far as we know.
Oh, and fun fact, Stinger's actor actually can play the guitar, and he actually does sing. He's got a couple albums.
Was he actually playing it in that scene?
I think so, yeah.
But
at the very least, he knows how to play it.
Like, I liked the live narration too, rather than just the stock footage that they've been using for the Legend. Like that was a nice touch, because even when they were starting the other arcs previously, they were still using the stock footage for it. I'm a sucker for things not being stock footage.
Yeah, the live narration was really good.
So, after the opening, we get the episode title, Space 32, Oriongo into Eternity. During the fight, the governor claims to be the galaxy's top scientist. His goal is to reactivate the Moraimazu on Earth and blow up the Rangers along with the planet. Raptor saves the governor before he's defeated in hopes of using his power on the Oriongo, and the governor retreats. Tsurugi scolds her and explains that the governor doesn't actually fix machines, but uses a bioliquid called Matrix to turn the machines hostile. He can't fix the Oriongo, basically. And Raptor's hopes are crushed. But Tsurugi isn't worried because the Oriongo has no weapons and is pretty much useless in combat. I mean, every time it's been attacked, they have to send a couple Voyagers to protect it, so... Raptor retorts, though, that the Oriongo is a comrade. Tsurugi says that's delusional even for her. Garu says that it's a valuable ship, but Raptor storms off, angry. and Balance calls the Rangers back to the Oriongo. So, thoughts?
Legend Boy is not getting out of this mess. The fight, while a bit silly, yes, I did laugh at, so that's a good plus at least. And Tsurugi, I understand that what he said is in character, with him and Raptor at least, but the interactions and what's going to happen later, that's something I want to bring up a bit later, because it showed me something I think really fixes an issue with a lot of people when it comes to Raptor. But I will get to that later. I'll leave that for... I'm repeating myself right now. I'll get to that later, but I did like the fight, so... And like I said, that boy is not getting out of this one, no matter how legendary he is.
I like that he referenced Raptor's delusions. It's something that is only happened rarely, and it seems like she keeps them to herself. It was nice that it was actually mentioned by another character. That's really all I had to say.
Like, this fight was just silly. I did like some of the gags on it, but beyond that, it wasn't that amazing to me.
I did have something else to say, but you can finish first.
Like, I can follow Raptor's reasoning behind thinking that this guy could help, so it makes sense. You know, granted, it was proven wrong really fast, but it leads to a great moment for this series, especially involving Raptor herself. I did like the throwback to her being delusional, which, you know, always gets us to toss back to, you know, a KyuuRanger. Because, yes, it makes odd choices.
Yeah, I forgot about the goofiness with the electronics attacking them, and how the suit actors had to make it look like they were wrestling these just appliances. Props on them for giving it their all and trying, but holy shit, there was no way to make that look good.
Yeah, that wasn't too great. So let's see. Yeah, Balance tells the Rangers that it's impossible to reactivate the Oriongo at this point. Spada sympathizes with Raptor and it recalls how during a test of the warp capabilities they hit a magnetic storm and were almost destroyed, but the Oriongo seemingly flew to safety. Tsurugi understands, but he still thinks that Raptor has a bigger responsibility as a KyuuRanger rather than the ship's caretaker. Lucky leaves to go talk to her. So even though it was pretty short, it was nice getting some more backstory into before the Rangers were all assembled. What did you guys think?
I'm with you, Decade. I thought that was a really good part. And again, that leads into something I want to talk about, but I want to wait till it comes to a head in the show before I say it. So, not really much else to say. It was a good transition scene at the very least.
I like that flashback because it answers a question I was wondering, which was, in what order did they really come together before we met Lucky? And now we have a more definitive answer. It seems like Sholampo met Raptor first, sent her out to look for the others, she found Spada, then they found Champ, and then Hame. It was really nice. And then I don't have much to say until we get into the next scene.
Yeah, it was nice to get a little bit of background, even if it's not much or truly definitive. But to have something prior to Lucky showing up is always nice. Because to me it fleshes out the characters a little bit more, and this was a very good episode of fleshing out Raptor. Never thought I'd say that about a robot.
So let's see. Tsurugi and the Sortie, minus Lucky, find the governor, who boasts that the Moraimazu in the area are set to blow in 10 minutes, which would pretty much obliterate the area. Kukuruga interferes during the fight, and the Rangers have only 5 minutes to stop the explosion before we cut to Lucky and Raptor talking in a playground. She believes that the Oriongo saved her so she could protect the galaxy, and that fighting was her way of repaying him, meaning the ship. Lucky calls her stupid for throwing away her belief so easily, just because Tsurugi was kind of a dick. So Lucky decides to believe that the Oriongo is one of their comrades. Raptor is torn because that would also mean that she failed to save a comrade. Lucky tells her to continue fighting to repay her debt and make the Oriongo happy. What did you guys think of this?
Okay. So, Decade, you touched on most of the points, so I'll make it quick. Basically, I feel like this scene in particular opened up an answer to a question a lot of people had with Raptor when she first started. Why did her personality flip so much? Like, when we first started out with her, she was very serious, no nonsense. She didn't want a thing to do with Lucky's form of mind. But then when she became a KyuuRanger, her mind just kind of flipped. And while she did still have her serious half, she showed a lot more of her fantastical side. I feel like this really, and the backstory thing, really opens up the door to why that is. Like, what I mean to say is that she, like Decade said, she believed the Oriongo saved her life so she could do something with it. But it was never really specific what that was, so that was left up to her. That's why she had so many different delusions of becoming strong or popular, like when she wanted to be a pop idol. Getting off track, her dream of fighting and becoming a KyuuRanger was the forefront of all those dreams, since it was the most common thing around her. All of her delusions came from interacting with the world around her, and all of them were her ways of coming up with a way to repay the debt she owes. But since it's her fantasies would sometimes hinge. Sometimes to the point where her head would run away from her. I'm assuming none of you have forgotten the little proposal incident on Taki? But my point is, I feel like that opens the door to a lot of Raptor's behavior. It explains why she thinks of herself as so successful and strong in her delusions, because she believes that's a way to repay the debt. And this really brings it to a head, because now she's being faced with, well, how can I repay the debt now if I can't even help him? And Lucky gave her away. It's like, if you can't help someone, then you do right by them. And I feel like, while very subtle, yes, that is a really, really, really good way to go. Like Bashi said, an amazing way to flesh out a character, a robot, no less. So I was very happy with this.
That is an interesting look into Raptor that I hadn't thought of. And
Thank you.
It all makes sense. So now I'm going to talk about Lucky for a minute. When we started this series, Lucky was already giving, like, the red pep talk to the other members. Literally, episode 1, he tells Garo to quit sulking and do something. And we were saying, way back then, it felt undeserved. Like, we still didn't know him, like, why should he be the one saying all these things? But now that we've come this far, and we've gotten to know everyone a little bit, seeing Lucky, like, encourage Raptor and saying, if you believe that he's not just a machine, then I do too. Like, yeah, this feels like something Lucky would say. He likes to encourage his teammates. And it finally feels like he deserves to be able to make these pep talks to his team. Good job, writers.
Like it's been that way a little bit for Lucky for a little while. Like at the beginning of the series, like all of his little encouraging speeches just seemed like pandering, bullshit for someone undeserved to be able to say anything about anybody's situation to encourage them to do what he feels is right. It seemed really out of character. But now that we've gotten to know the team and know Lucky, like you said, right, is like this speech is like perfect for him. And like King said, like everything King said makes perfect sense. And it was a way I haven't really thought about either. But at the same time, it's basic psychology and ethical human interaction of I may not be able to save you, but I can do right by you. This is because humans are innately good and have that drive to do, especially for people they care about, which Raptor looks at Orion as a person rather than a machine. So the need to do right by your friends and do what your friends want in the good way, not, the dumb peer pressure bullshit, but, to make your friends happy and all that, it's basic human nature and basic human psychology is and it's fantastic that the writers did that rather than just writing it off as some, dumb delusion that she had. It was, no, this is human nature. And despite the fact that, yes, she's a robot, she has an understanding of that. And it's very, very great. And this entire episode is one of my favorite ones focused around Raptor. Not there have been many, but between this and her getting her KyuuRanger power were fantastic moments for her as a character, especially in terms of character development. They were phenomenal. I love this episode.
Yep. It's been a long time coming. So the Sortie team gets knocked out of their forms by Kukuruga. Then he leaves because, stupid villains. The governor counts down for the Moraimazu explode from 10. But nothing happens. Lucky and Raptor arrive, revealing that they neutralized the Matrix. The Rangers star change and roll call after Tsurugi and Raptor kind of apologize to each other. Which I liked because, yes, Tsurugi was being a total douche. Raptor was also a bit too emotional in her judgment and kind of procrastinated telling everyone the situation. And she protected a freaking governor, so it was a pretty well written moment. So Balance, Spada, and Kotaro cheer on the Oriongo as they watch the Rangers fight from the ship. Dogyun is defeated and turns giant. Kyuutamajin deploys. The power on the Oriongo completely goes off, cutting the live feed of the fight. The governor uses the last of his matrix to combine 10 Moraimazu into a super big Moraimazu that he will crash into the earth. They quickly defeat the giant governor and attempt to stop the giant ship, but fail miserably with their finisher. Raptor is still determined to stop the ship because they are saviors, and they'll find a way. The Oriongo miraculously powers on. The three Rangers are teleported to their Voyagers in Kyuutamajin. The Oriongo takes off headfirst into the super big Moraimazu, sacrificing itself. It makes a thumbs up and sends a message to the Voyagers before exploding. Good luck. What did you guys think?
I was bawling my eyes out the whole damn time. I mean, the Megazord fight was short and sweet. I did like that. I like how they showed just how much they were screwed over, because Kyuutamajin, at this point, is their most powerful weaponry mech-wise. So the fact that it didn't even dent it, I think kind of speaks a bit of volumes about how we're kind of back under the power scale a little bit. And oh my god, the Oriongo just crashing head first into this. Oh man, I was crying so damn hard. And Vashi, I know you probably wanted to say this, but I might say it anyway. The Terminator thumbs up thing. Well, yeah, obvious reference, but it was really sweet to see that. And the good luck thing, I thought at least, was twofold. Like, it was, of course, the battle finisher, like, good luck, I beat them. But I also felt it was kind of like his final message to them in a way. Like, good luck, you guys. I hope you can do it without me now. And I thought that was really cool. And I can't say it enough times. I was bawling watching the ship friggin' blow up. 'Cause they've done it in a lot of Toku shows, mostly Power Rangers from what I've seen, that they get rid of the home base. And over time, there are a lot of shows where the home base is a character in itself. Like, take Double, for instance, with Futo. They actually show the city being a character, even for a split second in that movie. This, I feel, tops that, and shows itself to be that, too. So, yeah. Small, yes, but very effective.
So, in the monster fight, I just have to say, one of my favorite things in Sentai that we rarely get is when the team just has a moment of real talk with the monster. And we got that this episode, and oh my god, it was hilarious. Hame asks him, why do you have so many weapons? And he goes, well, I thought it'd look cool. And they all just freeze and stop to consider that for a moment before going, no. I just love that so much. As for the Oriongo's sacrifice, I was just in shock the whole time. Like, this is happening. Like, he's not gonna make some sort of miracle survive here. And then when his, like, his club thing broke so he could do the thumbs up, it's like, yeah, he's dead. When the good luck message appeared, I only saw that as, like, him saying goodbye to the team. I did not even see that at all. It's like, yeah, he's saying, like, yeah, I finished the monster. It was incredibly emotional, and we're talking about the base. Which usually, like, when they do, like, the base is being attacked thing, or being destroyed, it's something that you see in the finale of the series. When they want to emphasize that shit's fucked. This was just really good.
Never in a series of Super Sentai did I think that I would become this emotionally attached to an inanimate object.
What are you talking about? It could fly.
I mean, well, unsentient object, I guess, would be more accurate.
You're right. Oh my god.
Friggin' smartass. But yeah, it was a machine with no soul, no life whatsoever, other than the people that resided inside of it. So for this to have the emotional weight that it did was freaking amazing. And it shows that it was done really, really well and expertly done. And it made you feel like sad, like legitimately sad. It's like, well, fuck, there goes a comrade, you know? It's the second death of the series, because we got Champ's death earlier. But it holds, despite the fact that this was just the ship, you know, the base, it held the same weight that was held when Champ died, and I am having a very troubled time speaking today. And it was just one of those things, like, it was amazingly well done. I thought the Terminator thumbs up thing was a little cheesy, but it held weight to it. It added to the scene, even if I did think it was cheesy.
The thing that got me about that was you see his club break. That was the part for me that showed, like, no, he's not coming back.
Right, and then to me, I took the good luck a little bit to a deeper meaning than just them telling the team good luck, but more directed at Raptor, who has throughout the series come to rely on Orion because she's felt a kinship to him. I mean, she calls him Oji-sama and Uncle, throughout the entire series. So I think while it worked as an overall message to everybody, I feel it was more pertaining to Raptor of not so much of in the saying of good luck, but you've got this. Don't worry, things will work out kind of way. Kind of the way, passing relatives will make their, loving remarks on their deathbed. So this series itself just this episode alone held so much weight when it came to the emotional moments, and it was done phenomenally, which is something that we've been able to say here quite often here with KyuuRanger, despite the way this series started.
Yep. So back on Earth, the Rangers pretty much say their farewells to the Oriongo. Lucky swears to defeat Don Armage. In the past, on a space station, Sholombo says that preparations are complete while observing a new spaceship. Episode end. Yeah.
Okay, so the bit at the end where God is like, alright, let's do goodbye, Orion, and head out, and bounces like, you do realize we don't have a ship anymore, right? And everybody just reacts like, oh crap, we don't. I do have one argument to that, though. Don't they technically still have the Argo? Can't that work? Plus, that actually has weapons. Is that just me, or... In any case, I did like that bit, and I know you guys, and from plenty others, we've all seen what that ship show has in the background is going to be. And from the way it looks now, it looks cool. As for what it will look like later, I will leave my opinion about that until later, and when I can see it in action. So, yeah, it was a good ending. And I am definitely gonna miss Oriongo.
I also like that they all start looking at Sputter like, oh hey, we're hungry now, by the way. But like he doesn't have his kitchen, he doesn't have like anything to cook. Just a neat little gag. As for when it cuts to show in the past, I like that he's standing in like the Oriongo as it's being built. That was a nice little detail there with the white walls and such. And that gives a better meaning to like why he stayed in the past. Not just to spread the rumor in Orion's place, but also he will have all the extra time to build a new battleship for them.
That was a nice touch. I wasn't sure that that's where he was standing. I thought he was just standing in some like hangar bay where the new ship was being built.
The doorway looked like the same one to me.
You're probably right. But it was just something I just kind of didn't pay attention to. I just saw white rooms and glass overlooking it, so my brain went hangar bay. But that's because I watch a lot of Star Trek and the Orville. But it's nice to see how the two timelines are starting to connect now. Because as of like the way things stand with the original timeline, there should be no other ship made, as far as we know. So, if that happened to be the case, and literally, Show decided to make this ship as a backup, that shows foresight with him to alter events enough that obviously won't change anything, but will still let that ship exist. Because, you know, paradoxes and all that other time travel bullshit. And with the way that this seems to be playing out with the preview, I really hope he's back next week. That will be a nice touch. Though I did like that everybody's solution to with the ship is blown up is, hey, I'm hungry now. Their solution to their ship blowing up was to go get food. Not to worry about the problem, but to go eat.
But again, Spada doesn't have his kitchen or materials to cook.
No, but
Again, Argo ship, come on!
they can go find Abba Ranger's restaurant.
Yeah, he knows how to make curry.
How long has it been since that appeared?
Which does apparently... It apparently exists in most universes. It's been a while since we've seen it.
Since Go Under Geki Ranger.
Yeah, but this is a separate universe, so doubtful.
And to kind of not so much bash your idea, King, but to add thought to it, I'm assuming the reason why they can't use the base form for the Argo ship where he was Suguri was found doesn't work through space like that. So the only version that would be his mech version, which can only seat one.
It also probably doesn't have the warp capabilities that the Orion Go had.
Okay, true, but
They have less than 1% drop frames. Well, we should be back now. Sorry, you go on with what you're saying?
do you remember episode 22 when he did the bit where he was outside banging on the window? And the Argo ship was right next to Oriongo? Like, right next to it?
All I'm saying is that it probably can't travel through space the same, like, as fast as the Orion Go could.
Fair enough. Okay, I can see that now. Never mind.
Like, ultimately, we're just assuming that the Argo ship doesn't have warp drive capabilities.
True, it does look like a Gokai Galleon, but a lot less tech-wise.
So, move on to final thoughts now.
Yeah, I don't have much to say. I really enjoyed the episode. You guys brought some pretty interesting thoughts to it that made it even better. So, yeah, looking forward to the next episode, which looks like it's gonna be a bit more crazy.
I laughed, I cried, I felt for the characters, I felt for the ship, but I really want to see next week because I get the feeling I'm going to be doing all of the above a whole lot more.
Way better episode than I thought we were going to be walking into after last week. Vashi?
Vashi, you alive?
Well, it's been long enough for him to realize that his mic is muted if that was the case, so he's probably having mic issues. Oh,
hey,
there you
no,
are!
I was having internet issues.
Hey, alright, give your final thoughts before you crash.
All in all, it's like this was an excellent episode, and it's a continued reason why I'm enjoying KyuuRanger. They've seemingly started to put a lot more thought into just underlying shit that, you know, kind of we don't think about through everything. And I did mention this to King earlier, because you remember how we had the theory that Orion may be sentient because
Yes.
it did the little head movements and all that. I have a solution for that to include the fact that Orion really wasn't, and they actually literally just created a miracle for this. We were seeing it through Raptor's delusion. Which would make sense.
That is possible.
Rather than it being sentient this whole time and just never, obviously, revealing itself to her that way. It would make sense that all of that was in her head, but we just happen to get to see it from, I guess, her point of view, I guess. Just from third person. But it would hold that that's what was the case, with literally this being a miracle that the ship did this, that the Orion did this on its own. But overall, this was a fantastic episode, and despite my hesitancy with the new mech in the next episode, I am looking forward to it.
Well,
I guess that's everything. Go ahead, send us out, Rye.
That wraps it up for this week. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening.
Later, taters.
Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week for episode 33 of KyuuRanger. And for those of you interested, we have a podcast for Kamen Rider Build, which will take place for, I believe it's for episode 5, and that will be tomorrow at the same time if you'd like to check it out. If not, we'll see you guys back next week. Thank you all for listening.